Chet Holmgren last night in Oklahoma City's first Summer League game. Good grief. I got people on ESPN telling me Chet Holmgren, after one Summer League game, is a combination of Kevin Durant and Dirk Nowitzki. Pump the brakes a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Let's let him do it, I don't know, maybe in a regular season game or against somebody that's guarding him that won't be working for UPS or FedEx in a couple of weeks. I mean, I just cannot believe how much play this guy is getting last night off of one Summer League performance. Needless to say, I'm really anticipating Paolo Banchero tomorrow night as the Magic begin their Summer League. So we'll dive into that. I've already given you basically my thoughts and general observations on that topic, but here's what the guest lineup looks like coming up in just a little bit. 8:30 tonight, about half an hour from now, college football. My friend Bill Bender of the Sporting News, their national college football writer. Craziness going on in the world of college football. Just absolutely stupid things happening. From NIL to the transfer portal to, of course, the Big Ten, adding USC and UCLA. Now there's talk that the Big 12 is in serious conversations to maybe take as many as 6 Pac-12 teams. Where does Notre Dame lie in this whole situation? Where is the ACC? What about Miami, Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina? What is their move? What are they going to do? We'll do all that with Bill Bender of the Sporting News coming up in about a half an hour. At 9:15, Gator fans, a treat for you. Former linebacker, national championship winning linebacker for the 2006 Gators, Earl Everett, will join me. I want to talk to Earl about memory lane, his memories as a Florida Gator. Remember, Earl Everett made one of the more lasting plays in that 2006 title game, sacking Troy Smith of Ohio State without a helmet on. It was pretty impressive. Earl Everett will join me not only to talk about that, but we'll get his thoughts on Billy Napier, where he thinks his alma mater is headed in 2022. So Gator fans, former linebacker Earl Everett is coming up at 9:15. And at 9:35, we will continue our NFC South preview. We were in Atlanta last night. Tonight, it's all about the Bayou. In New Orleans, my friend Mike Neighbors, he helped write the book, The Breezeway with Drew Brees, that you can get on Amazon and all the outlets where you find books. It is doing very, very well. Mike did a terrific job with that book with Drew Brees. He also has worked on Saints TV for many, many years. What about New Orleans? Life after Sean Payton. Jameis Winston, now the starting quarterback, recovering from that knee injury. Alvin Kamara, remember that situation out in Las Vegas? Talking to Mike Neighbors today, there is real concern that Alvin Kamara may be suspended as much as 8 games this year. As much as we're waiting for a Deshaun Watson suspension in Cleveland, they're waiting for a Alvin Kamara suspension announcement in New Orleans. So we'll do all that and more, previewing the Saints with Mike Neighbors, formerly of First Coast News here in Jacksonville. That's coming up at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. But as we do every night on Hacker After Dark, to kick things off, we give you a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, sometimes you have to go outside the fan base or outside the local market to get brutal honesty. Brutal honesty is never a good thing. Like, I'll give you a prime example. I went to the doctor today. Brutal honesty. The doctor's going to shoot you straight. He wants the best for you, but he's going to tell you what's going on. He's going to tell you need to drop some pounds, or you need to change your eating habits. You got to do this. You got to do that. It may suck to hear. You may be all angry afterwards, but it's brutal honesty. Sometimes it's what we all need. And I think CBSSports.com today gave the Jaguars maybe a little bit of some brutal honesty. They assessed all 32 NFL rosters leading into training camp, which, by the way, we are 18 days away from the Jaguars reporting to training camp. 18 days. We are inside of a month. In fact, we are 29 days away from the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. It is rapidly approaching. But CBS Sports rated all the rosters 1 to 32. And they had the Jaguars 27th. Now, that's not the brutal honesty I'm talking about. The brutal honesty I'm talking about is what they said about Jacksonville. Look, we all believe, by we all, I mean media here, fans in Jacksonville, all of us, we believe the Jaguars are better. Of course, we're not breaking any news there. It would be really, really hard to be any worse than they were in 2020 and 2021. They won 4 games in 33 opportunities in 2020 and 2021. So clearly with the money they spent in free agency, clearly with what they did in the draft, clearly by getting rid of Urban Meyer and bringing in Doug Peterson, we all know and we all accept the fact the Jaguars are a better team. How much better is the question. So I'm going to read you what CBS Sports said about the Jaguars. And it ruffled my feathers a little bit, irked me a little bit. But after I got done reading it, I'm like, yeah, that's probably some brutal honesty about the reality of this situation here in Jacksonville. This is what they say. The Jaguars' placement here, despite owning 2 straight number 1 draft picks and spending like crazy in free agency, is an indictment on management. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is better off under center, where he's now got the tutelage of Doug Peterson and added targets in Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. Yes, the Brandon Scherf addition up front could do wonders for the pocket, but altogether the supporting cast isn't high octane as much as it is middlingly upgraded. That could change if Travis Etienne breaks out as a hybrid weapon or James Robinson returns to full speed, but those are gambles. They continue about the defense. There are at least a few more young faces in which to buy stock on defense, chiefly pass rushers Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, and linebackers Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd. But the secondary is littered with overpriced vets. As much as Peterson may do for the Jaguars' culture, he'll need a major step forward from Lawrence to drag the rest of the lineup to extended winning streaks. It's hard to argue with that. Secondary filled with overpriced vets, there might be an argument there. They're obviously alluding to 2 people. They're alluding to Shaq Griffin and to Rayshawn Jenkins. Because Tyson Campbell, Darius Williams, Trey Herndon, Andre Sisco, they're all young guys or guys that just arrived, and Darius Williams didn't get a monster overpriced deal. So when you say the secondary is littered, well, that's a little bit of, not the whole truth. You're talking about 2 guys. Rayshawn Jenkins needs to play better. There's no question about that. I told you guys last night, Rayshawn Jenkins' lasting image for me from last season was the taunting penalties that he got when the Jaguars were down 20 instead of anything he really did on the field. And then he got hurt and his season was ended shortly. I thought Shaq Griffin did not play well out of the gate, but I thought towards the end of the year, Shaq Griffin was all right. Now, I know they paid him a gigantic contract, and maybe you should be better than all right or above average, but I was fine with the way Shaq Griffin played, particularly towards the end of the year. It's a big year for Shaq Griffin. If memory serves, the way that contract is structured, they could very easily get out of that contract after this season. So Shaq needs to come out and play very, very well if he wants an extended stay here in Jacksonville. But what they said about the offense, I think, is what we've said all along. Maybe not in as harsh a words as CBS used, but they are better. But there was so much to correct. There was so much awfulness that was here with the way the roster was structured, who was putting the roster together, the personnel that was in place, that it was impossible, literally impossible, to correct everything in one offseason. Doug Peterson has been on the job for less than 6 months. In fact, about 5.5 months. So it was impossible to correct everything. I think they righted a lot of wrongs. I do believe that. If you go position by position, where are the Jaguars not better than they were last year? Quarterback, they're the same, although Trevor's going into year 2. So you would think by that alone they'll be better. They get Travis Etienne in the running back room. They're better there. Wide receiver, they're clearly better. Tight end, they're clearly better. Offensive line, they're clearly better. There is not one spot on the offense where the Jaguars are not a better football team now than they were when the season ended in January. Defensively, same thing. They're better on the D-line. Linebacker, you lose Miles Jack, but you did that of your own volition. You released him. You bring in the guy that led the NFL in tackles last year, in Oluokun. You spend 2 of your top 4 draft picks on linebackers, in Devin Lloyd and in Chad Muma. You got to be better there. At least you think you're better there. And the secondary, you really didn't lose anybody. And you added Darius Williams, who has a Super Bowl ring on his finger from his time in Los Angeles. Kicker, they cut Matthew Wright. They feel they can upgrade there. I mean, literally, of all the positions on the field, I guess the strongest argument you could make that they're worse off is maybe kicker. But again, Matthew Wright was cut. They didn't even let him compete in training camp. They showed him the door in the middle of the offseason, which I still think is weird. What was he, like 24 of 28 on field goals last year, including the 2 50-plus yarders in London to beat Miami? So I still think that was odd the way that all went down. But there is no question that this roster is better. But I think you're realizing when you see articles like this from either CBS or ESPN, guys that don't cover it every day. See, sometimes, and I'm guilty of this as anybody, you know, I always make that joke, the offseason here in Jacksonville is always the it just feels different offseason. Because every year for the last decade, we've gone down, we meaning the media, have gone down to OTAs, have gone down to minicamp, training camp, and we report back to you, the fans, wow, there's a different energy down there. Wow, it just feels different. Wow, they got some playmakers this year. Man, they got a good guy in the draft, or they signed this good free agent. And every year, that happens until September, when the Jaguars lose a game by 30, and our hopes are shattered and crushed before our very eyes. And obviously, it did not feel different. It was the same year after year after year. So that's why, to me, it doesn't feel different yet. That's why, to me, I'm not going to come in here and say there's a different energy or a different momentum down there, because I know you're tired of hearing that, and quite frankly, I'm tired of telling you that. I'm going to wait till that second Sunday in September when the Jaguars are on the field at Washington. I'm going to enjoy the preseason games for what they are, which are not very important. I started the show talking about Chet Holmgren last night for Oklahoma City and how people are just going nuts, how he looked so good in a summer league basketball game. So this preseason, if Christian Kirk's doing his thing and Zay Jones and Evan Ingram and Travis Etienne, all these new additions are looking great, that's wonderful. And that's certainly better than the alternative. But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter at all. Take the preseason for what it is, a glorified scrimmage. You have to wait until the regular season when people care about the outcome to truly know how much better this team is. I think they're better. I've told you guys for the last few months, I think it's a 7-win football team. I think it's a 7-win football team, and I think it's a football team that's actually playing competitive playoff-style games in the month of December, at least the first part of December. To me, this is not a team that'll be eliminated by Halloween, like it has been seemingly year in and year out for the better part of the last 15 years. 7-10 would be an unbelievable improvement from where they have been in recent memory. But, truthfully, when you read articles like I just read to you on CBS Sports, they do point out a bunch of flaws. They do point out a bunch of things that this roster is going to have to overcome to even get to the 7-win mark. Never mind the fact of all the years to play the AFC West, and I mean this, of all the years The Jaguars have to do it this year. That means Russell Wilson. That means Justin Herbert. That means Patrick Mahomes. And that means Derek Carr. Good grief. The schedule does not do them any favors. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Jaguars are better. How much better is the question. 641-1010 is the phone number. If you want to get involved tonight on Hacker After Dark, you are more than welcome to do so. Hit us up on the phone line and the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Last night, our late night show, we did a little impromptu conversation about the best Jaguar team in franchise history. And we got focused on 1996, 1999, and 2017. I put a poll question out earlier. Which team was the best in franchise history? I'm stunned by the results. I'll tell you why next. Hacker After Dark on a Wednesday. We're glad you're with us, Jacksonville.
Can you crack the code?
I'm sending you the code.
10, 10, X, L.
Isolating his radio.
9, 2, 5.
The clock is ticking.
F, M.
Get all that?
It's summertime and the beach is calling your name. Chris here with Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach. I want to invite you all to our newly renovated family-owned restaurant that I guarantee you will only be served the freshest seafood in Jacksonville. My family and I wanted to see that our beaches community only gets the best, so we built you the best. Tons more seating, upgraded kitchen, fully stocked bar, and of course, fresh oysters. Come see us at Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, locally owned and operated by Safe Harbor Seafood.
Congratulations to Exit Real Estate Gallery and their continued support of the Jacksonville Jaguars. As a proud partner since 2016, Exit's unwavering commitment to the Jaguars illustrates their commitment to the North Florida community. A trusted local leader in real estate, Exit's footprint spans throughout the region with 7 offices and over 400 realtors to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to sell, buy, or rent local real estate, an Exit agent is always available to assist.
Okay, import footage. How is the hard drive already full?
Jawan's Pilates studio converted to entirely virtual classes.
MPEG.
But leading and editing sessions is stretching her too thin.
It says render failed. What'd I do?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. The First Coast YMCA is not only your home for health and wellness, it's also a place for the kids to explore, to learn new things, and to expand the limits of their imaginations. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, and outdoor games. Space is limited, and registration is now open. Visit fcymca.org and search for summer camps. See you at the Y.
Thinking about a graduate degree? Consider Webster University. Enrolling now for MBA degrees with several areas of emphasis to fit your career goals. Earn your degree completely online or in person one night each week at the local campus. Webster University is a military-friendly, nonprofit university. They accept VA benefits, employer tuition assistance, and financial aid. You've waited long enough. Apply today at webster.edu. Webster University, an accredited degree that fits your lifestyle.
Hi everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy football. Draft your team with no in-season management, get the optimal score from your team each week of the season, and have a shot at over $10 million in total prize money in Underdog's Best Ball Mania 3 contest. Head to UnderdogFantasy.com or the App Store now, sign up with the promo code 1010XL, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit up to $100. Again, Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code 1010XL and draft your Best Ball Mania 3 team today.
Hey, this is Ken with Fifth Element Adjusting. Let my team and I ensure your insurance claim is settled properly. We even helped Jeff Prosser get his roof replaced in 2016.
Thank goodness I had Ken Lawler and his team help me navigate the claim process. They did everything for me, filed it, scheduled it, completed it, and established a settlement. I got my damaged property replaced and got back to my life.
So call Fifth Element Adjusting or visit feaclaims.com. If you're happy with the outcome of your claim, Fifth Element Adjusting will not be able to help you. Ken Lawler, DFS number P213199.
Upgrade your grilling
game to amazing meals with a new high-quality grill from Caladad Grills. Why Caladad? It means quality. Expert grills that stand apart from the crowd, like Traeger, Kamado Joe, and Napoleon. In stock today and built to last. Why Caladad? It's a local family business, so they'll save you money and time with free delivery. Stop by Caladad Grills at the end of Cumberland Park Drive, just off County Road 210. Caladad, they make it easy for you to grill like a pro.
If you're ready to sell your gold, silver, or diamonds, then go to a name you can trust. Monahan Jewelers has been Jacksonville's top gold buyer for 45 years. Relax in our elegant atmosphere as Monahan's expert staff pays you top dollar for your gold, silver, diamonds, and coins. If you need cash for bills, something fun, or want to trade your old jewelry for a great new piece, people have confidence in Jacksonville's top gold buyer, Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. So to sell your gold, check us out at monahanjewelry.com or call us at 246-GOLD.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here. Let me tell you, I hear from people all the time who are having tax problems. Don't be afraid to go to the mailbox. If avoided, your tax issue will only get worse. If you owe the IRS, but you can't pay, call my friends at Accelerated Tax Solutions. Whatever your issue, you want someone who's not afraid of the IRS. Call today to speak or meet with a professional with a clear tax solution for you. Accelerate your tax solution with Accelerated Tax Solutions.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 6, 1933, the first Major League Baseball All-Star Game at Chicago's Comiskey Park. American League 4, National League 2.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
You know something, Denmark? As I get older in life, I get less and less, I guess I'm more metropolitan now than I am suburban, if you want to do an FHSAA analogy.
You're not a man's man.
I try to be. Like a prime example, I was over in the Swanee River area, Brantford, over the 4th of July weekend. And my stepdad's got an awesome house out there, awesome piece of land. Great. They got a tractor and a gator, and my little 3-year-old son has a great time out there. But it's certainly in the country, right? I mean, you got to go half an hour to your local grocery store. I mean, it's a little bit of a haul out there. There's a lot of chewing tobacco and such products going on out where I was. And there's also a lot of, like, bees and wasps and ants and whatnot.
Bugs.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. I got to be honest with you, man. I'm not a fan. And I found myself on Sunday, after having a few beverages and a cigar, enjoying myself under the 4th of July evening, but standing at what I guess was a anthill. And I got to tell you, man, right now my foot is itching very badly. And you, as a guy that I would take as more of a suburban guy, as a metro guy, do you have a remedy that can stop this unbelievable itching on my left foot?
No, there's it's gonna itch for like 2 to 3 days.
Fantastic.
So, or no, I could tell you, there's this, I guess like an ointment type of thing. My mom, I know what it looks like, but I don't know what the brand is. And my mom always used to give that to me when I was little, when we had ant bites all over us.
Well, I need our guys in McClenny in the West Side area. How do you solve an ant bite problem? Quite a few, actually, on my left foot, because the itching has ensued, and it is bothering me in a big, big way. But I'm a professional. All right, I'm going to get through this. Jack Youngblood played with a broken leg. Willis Reed came back out to Madison Square Garden.
Ronnie Lott.
You know, Ronnie Lott cut off his pinky. Rafael Nadal, oh, man, what a match that was today. He eliminated an American and Taylor Fritz in a 5-star thriller at Wimbledon. He played with an abdominal issue for the last 4 sets. I like to compare myself to those guys. And if those guys can fight through the pain, then I'm going to do my best to fight through a couple of itching ant bites. But it's distracting me in a big way, so it's going to take a big effort for me here over the next hour and 36 minutes. We did this last night, and the results are very interesting to me. So we found a list from CBS. They do it every year. Getting lotion suggestions on the text line. Appreciate that. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Calamine. All right, very good. I will definitely have to look into that. And I'll keep in mind my wife is also out of town, and I'm very ignorant when it comes to shopping, so I'll have to do that on my own as well. So we did this last night. The best season in Jaguar franchise history. All right? And I gave you the reasons why I eliminated every year other than 96, 99, and 2017. I put this on a poll question, and it's currently on, you can still vote, at Ryan Green 1010XL on Twitter, at Ryan Green 1010XL. Last count, we had about 150, 160 votes. I put it up right before I came in tonight. The best season in franchise history. And best can mean a lot of things. Best can be, well, it can mean the best. Or it can mean the most fun, the most memorable, whatever your definition is. What was the best season in Jaguar franchise history? Had a couple of votes for the 07 team. To me, 07 was fun, but you didn't make it to the championship game. You got eliminated in the divisional round. Now, you had the David Garrard run, which the Jaguars got away with blatant holding penalties on that play, but they weren't called, so whatever. But that was a great moment. That was a great game. That alone, to me, does not make the 07 season the most memorable in Jaguar history. So 96, 99, and 2017. And just to recap briefly, I eliminate 99 from my list because any great season, greatest season in a franchise's history, to me, cannot include losses to the same team 3 times. How can you lose to Tennessee not once, not twice, but 3 times in the same season and say that that was the greatest season in Jaguar history? So to me, 99 is eliminated. That gets us to 96, and that gets us to 2017. 2017 was out of nowhere. The Jaguars were awful going into the 2017 season, just awful. And remember, they lose Allen Robinson on like the second play of the game that year out in Houston. But you found out really quick the defense was going to be unbelievable, led by Calais Campbell, Ngakoue, Telvin Smith, Miles Jack, Ramsey. We know all the names. Boye. You get to 10 wins. You finally have a home playoff game for the first time in almost 2 decades. Although it was not a very exciting game, it was exciting in the crowd because of all the Bills Mafia fans that were here. But you beat them in the 4th quarter. Great win for the Jaguars. You go to Pittsburgh, you beat them 45-42. But you lose in absolutely heartbreaking fashion when Miles Jack wasn't down in New England. So to me, I almost eliminate 2017 because of the pain that we all endured on January 21st, 2018. So all roads to me point back to 1996. In 1996, the Jaguars were 4-7, going nowhere. Baltimore's trying to run out the clock. Vinny Testaverde inexcusably fumbles the ball. Jeff Lageman, I believe, made the recovery. The Jaguars go on to win that game to get to 5-7. They would go on to win 6 more games. Included in that was the Morton Anderson 31-yard miss. Was going to Buffalo after Thurman Thomas said he could not name any Jacksonville Jaguar players. Beating them. Seeing Tony Baselli just pound Bruce Smith into the ground. Put that on Instagram, Bruce. Tony Baselli just pounded you into the ground. Then you go to Denver, where some guy named Woody Page in the Denver Post refers to the Jaguars as the Jagwads. Jaguars were 2-touchdown underdogs, knocked off the Broncos. Now, you also lost that year in somewhat heartbreaking fashion. The interception in the end zone in New England, the James Stewart fumble, yeah, that loss sucked because you thought you were a team of destiny. But when you add everything up, to me, 1996 was the most memorable year in Jaguar franchise history. That's where my vote would go. Let's see where yours have gone. at Twitter, at Ryan Green 1010XL. 150 people have voted. It is a dead heat. 1996, 33%. 1999, 30%. 2017, the leader right now with 37%. Twitter is a younger crowd. You got to remember that. But something struck me today as well as I was driving in. Dylan Denmark, you hear him every night here on Hacker After Dark. We also got the Chief back there, Graham, who does just a terrific job with our video packages on social media. He, along with Mia O'Brien's putting together that Tony Baselli piece. The trailer dropped yesterday. Starts July 18th. It's going to be incredible. But we have two daily employees here at 1010XL that were not alive when the Jaguars made that run in 1996. You want to talk about a feel-old moment for me. It was 26 years ago, gang. 26 years ago. Over a quarter century since Morton Anderson missed that kick. That's why I think some have either forgotten or we're not old enough to appreciate that team. I mean, honestly, if you're a 30-year-old Jacksonville Jaguar fan, do you remember 1996? You were 4. If you're a 33-year-old Jacksonville Jaguar fan who has probably started your own family at this point, do you remember that 1996 team? You were 6 or 7 years old. It's just hard for me to understand until you think about it, how far we are removed from that. And the reason I bring this up, CBS did this for every NFL team. And every NFL team has so many options, right? Which of the 6 Steeler championships is the best? Which of the 6 Tom Brady Patriot seasons where they won the title was the best? The Green Bay Packers, the Favre year, the Rodgers years, go back to Bart Starr. Which one was the best? You don't have that here in Jacksonville. You got 27 years. About 20 of those years have been awful. A couple of those years you made a wild card run. But you only got 3 legitimate, long, deep runs into the postseason. 96, 99, 2017. And if you're a 25 to 30-year-old Jaguar fan living in Jacksonville, you don't remember 1996, and 1999 is probably in a far back crawl of your mind. All you really know is 2017, which is a sad state of affairs and an indictment to how awful this organization has been for 2 decades. Are we crawling out of that? Are we getting out of the black hole of the NFL? Yeah, I think we are. Because I think we absolutely hit rock bottom last year. I think last year was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson giving us the people's elbow and the rock bottom all in the same season. And we were at the very bottom of the pit in the NFL. But with the arrival of Doug Peterson, the arrival of all those free agents, Travis Etienne coming back in the fold, the arrival of Travon Walker and Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, Luke Fortner, I think we're crawling our way out. It's going to take a while. But the arrow, to me, is finally getting more green on the way up than it has been going red on the way down. 641-1010 is the phone number if you want to get involved. Appreciate the suggestions for my very ant-bitten foot here.
We have one call real quick. Cortisone and aloe will get the itch gone right away.
Cortisone and aloe. No, I like that. I think I have some aloe at the house, as a matter of fact. I think I can handle that. Yeah. I mean, I'm just sitting there having a darn good time, and I look down, and you can imagine my reaction when I saw a bunch of ants on my foot. Not something a metro guy likes to see. A city guy, if you will. And I used to be, Denmark, I used to be the fisherman type, man. I used to go on the Swanee River, go tubing, go hydrosliding, man. That was it. And then I discovered air conditioning. and a couch and a 70-inch big screen. It's like, wow, it's much more comfortable in here. 641-1010 is the phone number. College football. Coming up next, Bill Bender of the Sporting News, their national college football writer. It's been chaos this college football offseason. NIL, transfer portal, conference realignment, schedule changes. You know what I want? I want a 3rd down and 6 on the 32-yard line. My needs are small. I need to get some actual on-the-field football pumping through my veins. We'll talk to Bill Bender about all the off-the-field stuff. But what a novel concept. We'll talk to him about some 2022 on-the-field stuff as well. That's next on Hacker After Dark.
Summertime in your favorite city.
Summer day.
1010XL.
Summer day.
Your summer station.
One of the best things that happened here over the past year is the arrival of QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Leon Searcy here. QC Kinetics is giving relief every day to folks here with chronic joint pain using the latest advancements in regenerative medicine. They harness the power of your own body healing properties, like in your blood or plasma, concentrate them and apply them to your affected joints. The results can be mind-blowing. These regenerative treatments are designed to repair and restore your damaged tissues so that you can move again without pain. Play golf, tennis, run, walk upstairs without hurting. The success rate is incredible. QC Kinetics is growing now with clinics in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Folks here are getting real relief with no drugs, no steroids, no surgery. Discover the exciting all-natural, advanced natural options that we now have access to. Thanks to QC Kinetics. It's a free consultation. See what your options are. Now in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Call 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522.
Honestly, this is one of the best jobs I've had.
Drivers and mechanics, listen up. Waste Management is now offering a $5,000 new hire bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for job opportunities at our sites in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine.
There's so much more to Waste Management than what you think it is.
Waste Management offers steady work, competitive pay, weekly paychecks, opportunities for overtime, paid training, and a generous boot and tool allowance.
Plus industry-leading benefits, like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family, and your home every day.
The benefits were great. They're the best I've seen in a long time.
CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics apply online today at WM.com/careers. That's WM.com/careers. Search driver and mechanic jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine, Florida.
A people-first, military-friendly, equal opportunity employer.
We are WM.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The learning experience in Nocatee is raising funds for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the Jacksonville Sharks will donate $5 for every ticket sold. Learn more at jacksharks.com.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You can play in the golf tournament benefiting the Derek Hatcher Foundation, combating the disease of addiction, August 13th at Eagle Landing Golf Club. Register at derekhatcherfoundation.org.
If you know someone with cancer and no insurance, call the U.S. Uninsured Helpline at 800-234-1317.
Her Song is a nonprofit organization that breaks the cycle of human trafficking through survivor care, victim outreach, and education. Find out how you can help at hersong.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Concrete floors don't have to be ugly and hard to clean. Whether it's a garage with cracks, tire marks, and failed epoxy, or any concrete surface that isn't beautiful and maintenance-free, Shark Coatings will transform it. Our coating and warranty are stronger, more durable, and longer lasting than any other on the market. And because Shark Coatings is 100% UV stable for life, it's perfect for any concrete surface outside as well. Shark Coatings will let you reclaim those wasted hours spent pressure washing your driveway, patios, and walkways. Hit us up on social media or call 904-519-5055 to set up your free estimate today.
Mia O'Brien here, and I love shopping and supporting local business. That's why when I need plumbing and septic help, I call Duck Duck Rooter. They're a local company that was launched right here in Jacksonville 3 years ago, and they're already one of the largest plumbing and septic companies in all of Florida. My friends at the Jacksonville Jaguars are proud partners of Duck Duck Rooter, and I'm proud to be on their hometown team too. So when you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey. Obviously, the summer temperatures are already here, and if you're like me, you want that oppressive Florida heat to stay outside the house. That's why I'm such a fan of Pella Windows and Doors. By now, we know that windows are the #1 way that heat gets in and the cold gets out. So when you're ready for the stylish design and energy efficiency that comes from Pella Windows and Doors, we invite you to visit their showroom on Phillips Highway next to Tesla, or find them online at PellaJacks.com.
Hey, Royal Pest Services here. Have mercy, the heat and afternoon thunderstorms are here. With that, we get the skeeters. And for the transplants, mosquitoes. At Royal, we offer a monthly, bi-weekly, or one-time mosquito suppression service. The treatment process offers up to a 95% knockdown on all mosquito activity. So let Royal help you enjoy that backyard oasis this summer. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
Hicken here. Look for my video weekend updates for what is happening in sports and my take on it. The Weekend with Dan is available on YouTube, the 1010XL Twitter feed, and Instagram account. Brought to you by Millennium Physician Group, your connection to a healthier life.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The 4th of July has come and gone, and we are on the doorstep of college football. In fact, next month, believe it or not, will be the first college football Saturday of the year. There is a ton going on, obviously, with USC and UCLA. What's next in conference realignment? Let's get the very latest with Bill Bender of the Sporting News, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Bill, how you doing?
Hey, Ryan. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Bill, I'm well, man. Thank you for the time. Know you're busy this time of year with everything going on, from NILs to collectives to the transfer portal. And then lo and behold, we find out last week that Southern Cal and UCLA are making the jump from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. Bill, you've had a couple of nights now to sleep on it. What does that mean for the world of college football moving forward?
Super conferences are coming, and it's just a matter of what they look like, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. The Big Ten obviously grabbed a lot of money, can go coast to coast. Greed is good, I suppose. They probably watched Wall Street over the weekend. But that's where the game's headed. And I'm going to guess that you and I are around the same age, that a lot of people are saying, okay, college football as we know it is dead. That's probably true. But I still think something can pop out on the other side that could be really cool and really good. Am I in the minority in thinking that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I like with the SEC in particular, I like the idea what they're throwing around, changing the schedules up when Texas and Oklahoma come in. We've seen the ACC already do it, have the 3 every year opponents and the 5 rotators. That sort of thing I like. But what I feel, Bill, and you tell me what your thoughts are, NILs, transfer portal, conference shakeups. I just need a 3rd and 7 at the 32-yard line right now. I just need football. I think that's what a lot of people need right now.
I do too. I need that, that cold beer and a 3rd and 6. You've got it right there. It definitely is, because I don't think all of this is going to impact that part of the game, that we're still going to love the traditions of college football, that we're going to still have the marching band and all these things. But we're also going to have, I think, a more consolidated playoff. I know you guys love your high school football down there, so I think it's more – I don't know how you guys split them up, but here we do Division 1 through 7. Division 1's the big boys, and there can be a great Division 4 team, but it doesn't mean they can compete with Division 1. I think you're going to get everybody competing against who they can compete against, and that's the draw of it to me.
Bill, what's next? I mean, I want to get into the big three in the state here, but while we're talking about this, USC and UCLA, by the way, how that went so quiet and just happened in the span of about 4 hours last week was amazing to me. I mean, Clemson, Florida State, Miami, you're hearing thoughts on them down in our parts. We've seen, are the Big 12 and the Pac-12 going to essentially eat each other? I mean, what do you think is the next domino to fall here?
Well, it's Notre Dame watch, because Notre Dame will dictate what happens next. If they stay in the ACC, maybe we have 3 16-team conferences for a few years. If they make the Big Ten jump, then maybe the Big Ten raids the ACC. And you just mentioned the ACC schools that would fit in the SEC from a football standpoint. What, Florida State, Miami, Clemson? Maybe they go get Oklahoma State. And I just think Notre Dame's next move is going to dictate that, because the other side of it is the Pac-12 and the Big 12 got raided. And now they'll probably combine. And to kind of stay on the Wall Street references here, this is like all these conglomerates are happening. But it's just a matter of how many super conferences they will be and how far behind the SEC and Big Ten they can manage to do it with staying competitive.
Bill Bender of the Sporting News here with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. All right, Bill, let's turn our attention to 2022, the college football season less than 2 months away. Let's start in Gainesville. Billy Napier, his first year on the job. Boy, he's been in the news so much, it's hard to believe he hasn't coached a game on the Gator sideline yet, and he starts with Utah, the Pac-12 champion. It is not an easy start in Gainesville. Bill, what is your thought going in on Florida, on Anthony Richardson, and on Billy Napier in year number one?
Well, I'm sorry if I'm stunned a little bit. I think you've asked me the first on-field question in a week, which is a good thing because I welcome it. I like what Billy Napier does with quarterbacks. If you look at the track record he had at Louisiana, if he can get an efficient and a dangerous Anthony Richardson that can not only, avoid the interceptions, but make big plays in the running game, those flashes of brilliance we saw in Richardson last year, I think Florida could be pretty good. You look at his 3-year record at Louisiana, it's outstanding. But you said it. I mean, it's not easy opener. Utah is balanced on the offensive side. They played well in the Rose Bowl. They have a good quarterback. That is one of those games that's not getting maybe as much attention as it should in week one, because it's huge for the Pac-12. I mean, that's Utah's arguably their biggest game of the season.
Preseason magazines are what they are. They're good talking pieces. They're good conversation points. And a couple of the early preseason mags that have come out, Bill, have Florida fourth in the East, behind Georgia, behind Kentucky, and behind Tennessee. Do you buy that, or do you think Florida would be a little higher than that in your opinion?
I mean, they're in that mix. That 2 through 5, I think Georgia would be obviously my dominant favorite. I mean, not when we have SEC Media Days here in a few weeks, it'll be interesting to see who, if anybody, is picking against Georgia to win the division. Now, 2 through 5, by what I mean on that is I would lump South Carolina in there to see what they can do with Shane Beamer. They've got Spencer Rattler at quarterback. I think Tennessee's got a talented quarterback. Kentucky will be solid on both sides of the ball. Florida probably has the most talent on their roster, but a first-year coach. So I think that scramble from 2 through 5 is going to be interesting. They'll probably knock each other off a little bit. And then, do I think any of those teams have what it takes to beat Georgia? Probably not. Not this year anyway.
That's amazing. And while we're on Georgia, let's stay there. They had 15 guys drafted, including Travon Walker, of course, number 1 here to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I understand Kirby is recruited unbelievably well, and I get that. But 15 guys, that doesn't even take into account the guys that left via the transfer portal or graduation. And, Bill, it's like it's not even a question as to who wins the SEC East. Is that a compliment to Georgia, or is that an indictment to the rest of the division?
I think a compliment to Georgia, actually. And this will be the test, because you said it, LSU, when they had, I think a couple years ago, they had 14 guys drafted. And they had trouble replacing all those guys, but part of that was because, the biggest piece was Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and those guys played for a Super Bowl 3 years later. Not too bad, right? going to be interesting to see how they offset that on the offensive side. I think their defense will still be really good. They still have Jalen Carter. They still have Nolan Smith. They still have a loaded secondary, and he's had 4 straight top 10 recruiting classes. So, again, that will be the challenge for Billy Napier and Josh Heupel. If they can get Tennessee and Florida, who have a little more resources than Kentucky and South Carolina, to recruit at that level.
You get Bill Bender on the Sporting News. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Bill, over in Tallahassee, Mike Norvell coming into year number 3, quite frankly, looking to make a bowl game for the first year. I mean, that's amazing to even say that, but that's where Florida State is right now. They have a tough stretch, too, when they open Duquesne, but then, of course, right to LSU there in New Orleans. What about Norvell in year 3? Jordan Travis back for another year. What do you see out of Florida State this season?
They've got to have the offense, the quarterback. They've got to get back to the point where they can, compete with Clemson. Compete with Clemson on the field. And I don't know, and avoid the early season embarrassing loss that seems to throw them off track. It's been a while since they've got through September undefeated. So I think if they can get into conference play, compete, get to a bowl game, have another strong recruiting class, find their foothold in NIL, and eventually compete with Clemson. Man, that's a long checklist I just gave you. But, I mean, that's a lot of things for Mike Norvell to do, because if they have another 5-7 season, they're probably going to want him out of there.
You go 3 years without making a bowl game in Tallahassee. I don't know how you survive that. All the Florida State boosters I talked to are saying the right things about Norvell. While we're in the ACC Atlantic, I've talked to a lot of guys from around the region, Bill, that absolutely love North Carolina State this year. Are you buying the NC State hype?
They've got a good roster, and they've got a good quarterback, Devin Leary. I mean, he's the best quarterback they've probably had since maybe Glennon or Wilson, when they had those guys. I mean, he's obviously not as good as Russell Wilson yet, but, I mean, there's some potential there. They got close last year, had a hiccup in there, but they're a team that absolutely could win the ACC. They finally beat Clemson last year. They can challenge Clemson again. The problem is I think they go to Death Valley this time. And I'm one of those people that just kind of sees a Clemson, not a revenge tour, but they've got enough talent on the defensive side. When we're sketching out our All-American team, they might have 3 first-round picks on that defense. So I still think Clemson's the team to beat in that conference. And when you live in a world where a 10-win season is a down year, that says something about your program.
There's no question about that, of course. A lot of Clemson interest in these parts with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne here on the Jaguars. Bill, moving over to the Coastal. Again, we won't have the Coastal and the Atlantic moving forward, the final year of that in the ACC, and that, of course, is where Miami resides. Bill, Miami fans down here are loving Mario Cristobal. Like Napier, he hasn't coached a game yet, but he is pressing all the right buttons, and you got Miami fans talking about maybe another 10-win season for the U here in 2022. What's your thought on Miami?
I mean, very similar profile this year to NC State. Got a pretty good quarterback in Van Dyke, who played well last year. They had one of those years last year where we hyped them up, and then we forgot they had Alabama on the schedule. And then it's like, oh, yeah, there's your reality check. But I think long-term, yeah. I mean, because Mario knows the model. It's not a complicated one. If you recruit around Miami and the state of Florida well, you're going to do well. And I think he will do well eventually there. With Miami, whenever I hear talk about the U is back and all those things, they've got to win an ACC championship first. They have yet to do that. And when they do that, then we can start entertaining whether or not they can win a playoff, win the program's first national championship since, I believe, 2000.
Final moments here with Bill Bender of the Sporting News. Bill, I love college football. I would assume you do as well. You've been covering it for quite some time. My problem is this, and this is always the problem I've had, at least for the last 10, 15 years. We're sitting here talking in early July. If your name is not Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, we'll see what happens in the Big 12, maybe with Oklahoma being down a little bit because of the head coach, Lincoln Riley's departure. But you get the point. It's going to be the same suspects again this year, the lack of parity in college football. To me, that's why I think a 12-team playoff would be so good. You'll still have those guys, but it'll bring more teams to the dance. Where are you with the 12-team playoff, and where are you with the seeming lack of parity right now in college football?
Well, I mean, 6 schools have combined for 25 playoff appearances. It's not good for the game when you and I can sit here and play pick the playoff teams, and it'll be Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and we probably got 3 of them right. And that's the issue. I think that's another reason to me is why the super conference model could fix some of that. You get more teams involved. You're in a market where you guys down there have watched Jacksonville play in the AFC Championship game recently, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what the NFL does so well is, Green Bay and New England and those type teams, they're in there a lot. But the Bengals played for a Super Bowl last year. That's the equivalent of, I mean, I'm trying to think like a Texas Tech playing for a national championship in some ways. So I think that's what we need. We need a playoff system that allows for more teams to get in, so there are more chances for things like that to happen.
Bill, we were talking about preseason magazines earlier. I imagine the Sporting News, getting all your material ready. You mentioned media days. I'm sure you guys will have a lot in the coming weeks.
We will. And our All-American team will be out, our bowl projections, all those things. I mean, I kind of spoiled our bowl projections because, yes, some of those teams are on there. But like you said, for all the talk about this stuff to get us there, it's exciting. I can't wait for week 1. I mean, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Might be a Big Ten game here in about 5 years, but right now it's just a huge week 1 game, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, here in our parts, Labor Day weekend, you got Georgia, Oregon, you got Florida, Utah, you got Florida State, LSU. It is going to be absolutely sensational. Bill Bender of the Sporting News, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Hey, Bill, thank you for the time, my friend. Let's do it again soon.
Anytime. Thanks so much for having me. Take care.
There you go, Bill Bender of the Sporting News. Appreciate his time. And, here we are, the 6th day of July. We're about 3 weeks away from fall camp getting started, and that first college football Saturday will take place on August the 27th. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go here on Hacker After Dark as we are at halftime. We are streaming for your viewing pleasure on YouTube, the 1010XL YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, click 1010XL. You'll see Hacker After Dark there until 10 o'clock. Be sure and like and subscribe while you are there. And also on my own personal Twitter, you can watch the show at Ryan Green 1010XL, at Ryan Green 1010XL. Coming up next, big trade today in the National Football League. What does it mean moving forward for both teams? We'll talk about it next on Hacker After Dark.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I'm not saying a word till I get a lawyer.
The Drill.
Is this about the bonuses again?
Mornings.
There are no bonuses.
On 1010XL.
Attention all current lease owners. Before you turn in your vehicle, come get a free appraisal and equity evaluation at Key Buick GMC. Key can pay off your lease early. Do not wait. Now is the time to go to Key Buick GMC. They are currently buying all makes and models. The market conditions are increasing the value of your vehicle each and every day, so come see what your car is worth. Ask for Derek or Steve. That's Key Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate, or go to KeyBuickGMC.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. That looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Get recruiting tips and advice from area coaches, pros, athletes, and their parents. Plus better ways to train as B3 bettors Jaron Sanders and A.D. Roberts host the Amateur's Edge Show. Saturday from 11 to noon on 1010XL.
I want my Woody's barbecue.
Are you craving some fall-off-the-bone ribs that are cooked low and slow? Then head for the nearest Woody's barbecue today.
At Woody's barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat. WJXL FM, Jacksonville Beach.
Upgrade your grilling game to amazing meals with a new high-quality grill from Caladad Grills. Why Caladad? It means quality. Expert grills that stand apart from the crowd, like Traeger, Kamado Joe, and Napoleon. In stock today and built to last. Why Caladad? It's a local family business, so they'll save you money and time with free delivery. Stop by Caladad Grills at the end of Cumberland Park Drive, just off County Road 210. Caladad, they make it easy for you to grill like a pro.
Monahan Jewelers is Jacksonville's source for fine jewelry and certified diamonds for 45 years. Have confidence knowing that you're buying the highest quality diamond at the best price. Monahan's has the inventory of several jewelry stores in one location with unbelievable prices. Diamonds, gemstones, and gold jewelry for every budget. At Monahan Jewelers, expect a huge inventory, great prices, expert jewelry repair, and fantastic service. Visit us at MonahanJewelry.com or call 246-GOLD for Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Estate cleanouts, hoarding cleanouts, old appliances, and even tools. There are tons of reasons why you or someone you know may need expert help clearing space. J-Dog Junk Removal will responsibly help you free up space. That means when they leave your place, it looks better. Whether it's you or a loved one that needs one type of cleanout at your home, trust the veterans at J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran-owned and operated. Call 844-GET-JDOG or visit jdog.com.
In 1921, U.S. Marine Corps surgeon Dr. Robert McKeever established the first urologic practice in Florida, the McKeever Clinic. I'm Dr. West. 100 years later, we continue to carry on his life's work in providing complete urologic care in Jacksonville. We have 13 board-certified urologists with many areas of expertise to provide the highest level of care for both men and women. Visit McKeeverClinic.com to learn more about how we can help. McKeever Clinic, innovators in urologic care since 1921.
Hey Jacksonville, we need your help. It may be summer, but school is just around the corner. Hundreds of local homeless, at-risk, and low-income students need school supplies. One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, is collecting school supplies through July 30th, so our most vulnerable kids can start the school year right. Be a good person and help us fill 350 backpacks this summer. Bring donations to your nearest One-to-One Financial branch. Learn more and find the closest branch at one-to-one-fcu.org. And don't forget, the school supply tax holiday is the last week of July. Thanks, Jacksonville.
Did you know that the air in your home can be much worse than the air outdoors? Hicken here for Zero Res. In fact, the EPA lists indoor air quality one of the top 5 health threats in America. Zero Res can help. Cleaning air ducts is all about power. The more power you have, the more air you can move, and that's how you clean air ducts. Zero Res truck mount systems move more than 15,000 CFMs to pull all that dirt and debris out of your home. Right now, Zero Res offering $50 off the cleaning of your air duct system. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Are you ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. The First Coast YMCA is not only your home for health and wellness, it's also a place for the kids to explore, to learn new things, and to expand the limits of their imaginations. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, and outdoor games. Space is limited, and registration is now open. Visit fcymca.org and search for summer camps. See you at the Y.
Give us your hot take.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
On the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Be part of the conversation. 641-1010. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
9 o'clock hour has arrived. Glad you're with us, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark. So earlier today, Cleveland finally ended the soap opera that was the Baker Mayfield situation. Now they have another soap opera with the Deshaun Watson situation. They are still waiting for the NFL to come down on any sort of suspension for Deshaun Watson. But regardless of what happens to Watson, the rumor out of Cleveland was that Jacoby Brissett was going to start and that Baker Mayfield was done. So Mayfield wanted out. The Browns wanted him out. It should have been done months ago. Finally, today, it comes out that he is on his way to Carolina. Works out perfectly for us because we're doing our NFC South preview here on Hacker After Dark, and we're scheduled to have the Mac Attack, Chris McClain, on tomorrow from Charlotte to get the very latest on Baker Mayfield's arrival. What does it mean for Cleveland? Well, it gets a headache out of the room. The minor headache. Now they still got the migraine. see Baker Mayfield throw 4 passes, but I get to see this homeless guy return a ball for a touchdown. Yes, exactly. That's wow. All right. So I don't even know what that's from, but I like that. All right.
I think it was when I interned with y'all 3 years ago, and y'all were talking about meaningless preseason games. Thanks, JJ.
You never know exactly what will be saved in the 1010XL library, the archives. So Baker Mayfield, the minor headache is gone. The migraine is still there with Deshaun Watson. Jacoby Brissett will get the start if Deshaun Watson starts the year on a suspension. Carolina's point of view in this. They get Baker Mayfield. And here's the irony of ironies. Go back to the 2018 NFL Draft. 2018. We're only in 2022. All the guys in 2018 have only spent 4 years in the league. You think back to the Jaguars in 2018. That was the Taven Bryan draft. It's not that long ago. The number 1 pick in that draft, Baker Mayfield, to Cleveland. The number 3 pick in that draft, Sam Darnold, to the New York Jets. 2 quarterbacks taken in the top 5 in 2018, both now traded to Carolina within a year of each other. So is it a true quarterback competition between Sam Darnold and between Baker Mayfield? Remember, they drafted Matt Corral out of Ole Miss in the 3rd round. Got an interesting quarterback situation there in Carolina. I've always liked Baker Mayfield. I got no problem with Baker Mayfield. Is he the number 1 pick in the draft? No. He probably wasn't worth that. But I like a guy that plays with a chip on his shoulder, man. I like a guy that has a little attitude, a little moxie to him. And you don't think Baker Mayfield is going to be all sorts of fired up if given the opportunity, if he wins that Carolina quarterback job? And you look at Carolina, Christian McCaffrey, you got Robbie Anderson, you got some good weapons. DJ Moore, obviously. Some good weapons on that offense. By the way, week 1 this year, Cleveland against Carolina. That might be a pretty good one, especially if Baker Mayfield is the starting quarterback. Speaking of starting quarterbacks, I came across this, and I love things like this. I just put Denmark to the test a little earlier. So CBS Sports ranks every NFL franchise based on quarterback turnover over the last 10 years. What does that mean? Well, it's easy to understand this. How many guys have started at least 1 game at quarterback for every franchise over the last 10 years? Okay? The Atlanta Falcons had 1 guy. His name was Matt Ryan. He's now gone. Seattle, only 2 guys. The Chargers, only 2 guys. And so on and so forth. You get to Jacksonville, though. Jacksonville, in the last 10 years, has had 8 quarterbacks that have started at least 1 game. Can you name them? If you're listening right now, thinking about it, driving down Southside Boulevard or I-295 on this Wednesday evening. 8 guys that have started 1 game at quarterback, at least for the Jaguars, in the last decade. I'll run down the list. With 73 starts, Blake Bortles. 27 starts, Blaine Gabbert. 22 starts, Chad Henne. Gardner Minshew threw in 20 starts. Trevor Lawrence, 17. Mike Glennon, wow, what an era of Jaguar football that was. Mike Glennon, 5. Nick Foles with 4. Cody Kessler with 4. Dylan Denmark, I think we got a problem on this list. I'm going to have to go to the tape, and I might have to call my friends at CBS Sports. Didn't Jake Luton start a game?
I believe he did.
I think Jake Luton started a game. CBS, you're getting a call. Shame on you. And I could be wrong about that, but I am I'll say 92.5%. How about that? I'm 92.5% positive that Jake Luton started a game as well for the Jaguars. I know who started a lot of games at the University of Florida during his career, and that was linebacker Earl Everett. That guy was a beast. He was a big part of the 2006 national championship team that beat Ohio State. Remember Earl Everett sacking Troy Smith without a helmet on? He'd get a personal foul for that now. It was totally legal in 2006. We'll go down memory lane with Earl Everett. We'll get his thoughts on Billy Napier and the Florida Gators coming in to 2022. And we'll let you know what Earl Everett's life is all about these days. He's back on the high school football gridiron. Gator fans, your national championship winning linebacker, Earl Everett, next on Hacker After Dark.
The team that loves the team you love.
They came together as a team.
1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Call me, Mark Anajar, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
The 9 after 5 keeps rolling at Southampton. Joe C. inviting you to jump on the tee every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Just call 287-PLAY and sign up. We'll give you a little time after work to get there. Always a fun 9-hole game. Chef Gary preparing something nice for afterwards, prizes, and more than anything else, playing golf with buds and having some suds after. It's the 9 after 5 every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and get on the tee with Joe C.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Who was the very first superhero? The answer coming up.
Hurricane season begins in June, and now is the time to ask your agent about your homeowner's coverage. It's time to make the change to Southern Oak Insurance.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
Superman was the first superhero and made his initial appearance in Action Comics in 1938.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
One of the best things that happened here over the past year is the arrival of QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Leon Searcy here. QC Kinetics is giving relief every day to folks here with chronic joint pain using the latest advancements in regenerative medicine. They harness the power of your own body healing properties, like in your blood or plasma, concentrate them and apply them to your affected joints. The results can be mind-blowing. These regenerative treatments are designed to repair and restore your damaged tissues so that you can move again without pain. Play golf, tennis, run, walk upstairs without hurting. The success rate is incredible. QC Kinetics is growing now with clinics in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Folks here are getting real relief with no drugs, no steroids, no surgery. Discover the exciting all-natural, advanced natural options that we now have access to. Thanks to QC Kinetics. It's a free consultation. See what your options are. Now in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Call 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522.
Mark Watson to tell you about hardballcreative.com. It's kind of like a place on the internet where you can shop for products to put your company logo on. Actually, that's exactly what it is. Hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
It's a unique gift idea, and it's perfect to add some fun to your work environment. Mystic Cornhole Company builds customized high-quality boards right here in Jax. Visit their shop on Phillips Highway or check out some of their design at mysticcornholecompany.com.
Hey, Rural Pest Services here. Have mercy, the heat and afternoon thunderstorms are here. With that, we get the skeeters. For the transplants, mosquitoes. At Royal, we offer a monthly, bi-weekly, or one-time mosquito suppression service. The treatment process offers up to a 95% knockdown on all mosquito activity. So let Royal help you enjoy that backyard oasis this summer. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
1010XL gets you closer to the coaches and players of every SEC team.
This is big-time ball season.
Griffin Service SEC Football Media Days. Brought to you by Famous Automotive Tire and Quick Lube and Window World of Northeast Florida. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The end of June, the beginning of July means we're only a couple of weeks away from SEC Media Days and only about 2 months away before Billy Napier makes his debut as the Florida head football coach. Let's talk to a man right now that knows all about wearing the orange and blue in Gainesville, a member of the 2006 Gator National Championship team. And, well, he tackled Troy Smith without a helmet in the national title game. That, of course, is linebacker Earl Everett, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Earl, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Hey, Earl, we are good, man. I want to get your thoughts on Napier, everything going on with the program now. We'll let Gator fans certainly know what you're up to these days, but let's go down memory lane a little bit. Hard to believe it's been 16 years since that 2006 national championship run. What are your fondest memories from that 06 season?
I would say probably my fondest memories were just bonding with the guys and building, lifelong relationships, with a lot of the guys that I came in with and, some of the guys that were, upperclassmen before me, before I arrived on campus. And, like I say, just building a strong bond with each other was something that, you'll never forget, a lot of those guys I still talk to now, Joe Cohen and a few of those other guys. Cohen is actually my son's goddad. So, that just shows the relationship that we built, throughout our tenure at UF,
You think about that defense. There was you, there was Brandon Seiler. You mentioned Joe Cohen. Reggie Nelson was a big part of that defense. You go to the front seven with guys like Derek Harvey and Jarvis Moss, and you guys were involved in some crazy games, from the South Carolina blocked field goal there at the Swamp to obviously knocking off Ohio State in the national championship game. I bet those are memories that have lasted 16 years and will certainly last more and more as we get further away from them.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. It took, when Urban and his staff came in and, they changed the whole atmosphere, and, built mental toughness, was something that we were kind of lacking, beforehand. And, that mental toughness is what, carried us through those tough games, man. Before him and his staff arrived, we would play with anybody in the first half. Anybody in the country, we would play with them in the first half. But the second half of those, games were games that we kind of, lost a little mental toughness and ended up not being able to pull through. But, that mental toughness that, like I said, that Urban Meyer and his staff and his training staff and, that they instilled in us really carried us a long way. Because, we had that team, you had all the athletes and the guys up front and the secondary that could play with anybody. We just needed that mental toughness with us.
former Gator linebacker Earl Everett, here with us on 1010XL Radio in Jacksonville. Earl, going into that Ohio State game in 2006, everybody in the country thought Ohio State was going to have an easy time of it. They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, but of course Reggie Nelson was held on that play and it wasn't called. And then after that, you guys score 41 unanswered points. I mean, how satisfying was that, not only to beat Ohio State, but to literally beat the crap out of them after all the talk coming into that game?
Well, our blood was boiling, man. Nobody gave us a chance, and with us playing a conference game, and Ohio State, then, they don't play a conference game. They already knew, I guess a couple weeks in advance, that they were going to the national championship before we did. We had to beat win our conference game, and so from those 2 weeks, hearing that we don't deserve to be on the same field as Ohio State and all of that crap, it kind of just lit a fire under us, and we worked our butts off, man. And once we got to Glendale, we actually were able to hang out a little bit our first night in town, and we ran into a bunch of Buckeyes, Buckeye players at a bar, and they were all celebrating like they had already won, and this is no lie, a true story. We all ended up going back to our hotel that night and got in our playbooks, and we said we're going to let them have this tonight because I think it was a Monday or Tuesday night we played, but we said come game time, we're going to let them have it tonight, but come game time, we're going to show them what we're made of. And we were on a mission, and it showed, man. And we were out to prove everybody wrong, because we felt like we deserved to be out there.
Yeah, I want to say that's when you guys had to beat Arkansas in the SEC title game, and the reason I remember that is USC and UCLA were playing at the exact same time, and I think UCLA upset USC to give you guys the opportunity to get in, and I'm at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta with every other Gator fan at halftime in the men's rooms because that's where all the TVs were. So every Gator fan had embarked to the men's rooms in the Georgia Dome to watch the end of that game. And I'll never forget when you guys took the field in the second half. The game in California was just ending, and it's like Gator fans were yelling at you guys to let you know that USC had just lost, as if you guys didn't know already. That was one of the cooler moments I remember. And then, of course, you make one of the lasting plays of that game. It's funny, when I told somebody I was going to have Earl Everett on, they asked about the helmet play. Your helmet comes off in the Ohio State game, and you still sack Troy Smith. I imagine that's the play that you probably get asked about the most.
Definitely, man. All the time, on social media, out in public. And it's crazy because I'm actually bald head now. So, people still remember, my face from that picture, even though I don't even, I'm bald. But, yeah, people ask about it all the time, man. And they ask, what happened? Did you realize your helmet, was off? And, to be honest with you, I didn't realize it was off until I got right up on Troy Smith. Adrenaline just pumping and trying to get off the field on third down. And, like I said, we were on a mission, man. We were out for blood. And as I got right up on him, everything in the stadium got brighter. That's when I realized my helmet was off. But, it was too late by then, So just trying to make a play, man, and fight for my brothers and, trying to get a win, man. That was the only thing that was really on my mind at the time, was to, make a play and get off the field.
A couple of more for former Gator linebacker, national champion linebacker, Earl Everett. Earl, I want to ask you about Billy Napier in a moment, but you brought Urban up earlier, and I got to ask, it obviously did not work out well here in Jacksonville last year. In fact, it was a nightmare of a scenario. It was very, very bad. Many reasons for that, but as a guy that played for Urban, as a guy that won a national championship with Urban in Gainesville, your reaction to how poorly things went here in the NFL for him?
I was actually kind of surprised that he actually even, stepped out to took the NFL job, just off of conversations, now this was years ago back in college, he had made statements about, he wasn't a big fan of the NFL as far as wanting to coach, and I know things, things can change over the years, opportunities present themselves. But he, back then he made quite a few comments about, the NFL he was never really too fond of it. So I was surprised that he took that job, but the way that things went down, man, Herb's a great coach. That's something you can never take away from him. And, Herb got a way of going about things, and like every other coach got a way of going about things. And so I was surprised, but I was surprised to hear, and see all the things that were going on and the way things ended, because, Herb being Herb, he's a great coach, man. And I just hated to hear all that stuff that went down,
Well, Earl, we got another coach at the University of Florida now. Billy Napier arrives on the scene. He was hired in December. Hasn't coached a game yet, but he's put together a good staff. He's put together an impressive recruiting staff. Things are going a little bit better on the recruiting trail now than, say, they were a week ago. You are involved in the high school game. We'll get to that in a little bit, but your reaction as a guy that won a national title there in Gainesville of the job that Napier's done to this point, and what's your thought on him moving forward?
I'm very excited and looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table, man. You look at his success that he had at Louisiana, man, and it just shows what he's capable of, with getting the right guys around him, to help him out at Florida. And that's what he's done. I mean, you look at the assistants that he's brought in, the recruiting coordinators and all that type of stuff, man. It's you couldn't ask for anybody better, as far as the guys he's got surrounding him. And I actually met him for the first time last week up in Gainesville, and seemed like a great guy, man. And, we took some kids up to a camp at UF last week, and his whole staff was out there, and watching those guys interact with young kids, you know what I mean? And I know that just carries over into the way they interact with the team, So I'm excited for them, man, and I know they'll do great things, man. Like I said, they're getting after it, man. They're putting the hours in, and I know it's still early now, so people they don't know what to expect. A lot of the fans kind of look at, we're not getting this recruit or not getting that recruit. Well, a lot of times that stuff don't always matter, man. The kids that want to be there and want to work hard, those are the kids that you're going to get more out of it at the end of the day anyways. So, a lot of times it's good to get those 4 and 5 star kids, but a lot of times those kids don't pan out anyways, so.
All right, Earl, we got to go quick here, but I got to ask you, a linebacker like you certainly played against a lot of big physical running backs, fullbacks, quarterbacks even. Cam Newton, you played against guys of that sort. Now, Cam Newton is a guy that people are comparing Anthony Richardson to. Let me ask you this about AR. 6'4", 240 pounds, some odd. If Anthony Richardson's running full speed at you as a linebacker, what are you doing in that situation? Because I imagine that is a situation you probably do not want to find yourself in.
Well, me personally, because I'm a lot heavier now than I was back at UF. But at UF, when I left my senior year, I was about 240. So a big quarterback that size running at me, I'm loving it. Because I'm bringing it right back to him. It's usually for a bigger guy. It's usually the smaller, quicker ones that usually give you problems. But for a guy that size, I was always taught to peel my ears back, and one or two things gonna happen when you hit somebody that runs hard like that. They either their tail is gonna curl up, or they're gonna keep running hard. So. But for most defenders that are smaller than him, of course, a lot of those kids they're going to catch problems because he's a big kid. He's a strong, he runs hard, and he's pretty agile to be a big guy. But as far as you ask, my mentality is, a big guy like that, I'm loving it. Because I love contact.
You were a very physical linebacker at the University of Florida. There is no question about that. Wrapping things up with Earl Everett. Earl, a lot of Gator fans up here in the Jacksonville area, man. Let them know what Earl Everett's up to these days. What's life like for you?
Life is going great, man. I'm coaching at my alma mater, South Sumter High School down in Bushnell, Florida. Been there for about 10 years now, coaching linebackers. And got some upcoming young kids that hopefully can be Gators someday. But I'm enjoying life, man. I got a 2-year-old son now, so I'm teaching him the Gator way at a young age. So just enjoying life and just giving back to these kids. That's, the biggest thing that I'm doing right now, and just ready for Gator football to start, man. I haven't been up there in about a year, once my son was born, but I'm definitely eager to get back up there.
Earl, you were a terrific linebacker, man. It was a pleasure having you on 1010XL. Let's do it again when the Gators get into the regular season. We'll love to talk a little Gator football with you when the games start back up again. Earl Everett, member of the 2006 National Championship winning Florida Gators. Earl, thank you, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
This is the playmaker, Michael Irvin.
I'm Ken Wisenhunt.
I'm Paul Spicer. And you are listening to 1010XL.
1010XL.
Big 1010XL.
92.5 FM.
Mia O'Brien here. Have you seen the duck around town? No, not just any duck. I'm talking about Duck Duck Rooter. In just 3 years, they've grown into one of the largest plumbing and septic companies in Florida. And their hardworking team is based right here in Jacksonville, FLA. From septic tank pump-outs, septic inspections, drain field installations, sump pump repair, they do it all. And they are the only master septic contractor on the First Coast. So when you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769.
Next time you're tempted to speed, think about who's waiting for you at home. On average, 8 people are killed each day in crashes on Florida's roadways, so slow down. Pay attention behind the wheel and help drive roadway fatalities down to 0. Let's get everyone home, Florida. Don't let a fast drive be your last drive. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their physicians. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
Hicken here for Roof It Right. You know the drill. Hey, that's our show. Don't let anyone touch your roof until you got a quote from my friends at Roof It Right. Storm season right around the corner. Get prepared now with an inspection from Jacksonville's Master Elite Roofer, and sleep easy knowing your home is protected by the area's best materials and best warranties. There's a lot of roofers here in town. Roof It Right is the company I trust. Schedule your estimates today at roofitRightFL.com. That's roofitRightFL.com, and see why your friends and neighbors say Roof It Right, so you can sleep at night.
Introducing the meatiest, boldest bowls ever created by you. New build-your-own bowls at Sonny's. Loaded with your choice of slow-smoked barbecue and favorites like mac and cheese, tots, or new barbecue dirty rice. All layered and sauced to perfection. For limited time, build a bowl or try a new Pitmaster Select Bowl starting at $10.99. Get yours at a Sonny's near you or at ordersonnys.com. Sonny's Barbecue. Local Pitmasters since '68.
Hey, it's Carline here for Claude Nolan Cadillac, and guess what? New cars are starting to arrive, ready to be bought off the lot. So take advantage of available luxury SUVs, 2022 XT4, XT5, and the 3-row XT6. Need your car repaired? Claude Nolan has a body shop that can handle all makes and models, from a dent to major damage, and you don't have to go where your insurance company suggests. So get down to Claude Nolan Cadillac today. Tell them Hay sent you. Begin your lasting relationship. Claude Nolan Cadillac, off JTB and Southside.
Did you know that July is National Carpet Cleaning Month? To celebrate, Zero Res offering 25% off all carpet cleaning in your home. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com or give them a call. Zero Res. You spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. it's the right way to clean.
Thinking about a graduate degree? Consider Webster University. Enrolling now for MBA degrees with several areas of emphasis to fit your career goals. Earn your degree completely online or in person one night each week at the local campus. Webster University is a military-friendly, nonprofit university. They accept VA benefits, employer tuition assistance, and financial aid. You've waited long enough. Apply today at webster.edu. Webster University, an accredited degree that fits your lifestyle.
Hi everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy football. Draft your team with no in-season management, get the optimal score from your team each week of the season, and have a shot at over $10 million in total prize money in Underdog's Best Ball Mania 3 contest. Head to UnderdogFantasy.com or the App Store now, sign up with the promo code 1010XL, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit up to $100. Again, Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code 1010XL and draft your Best Ball Mania 3 team today.
So you got a letter from your insurance company saying that your policy will be canceled if you don't replace your roof. I did, and before I did anything, I called Ken Lawler and Fifth Element Adjusting. Ken, how's it work?
Jeff, if you've received a non-renewal letter from your insurance carrier, our team will help you navigate the confusing process and review your policy for you. Our goal is to get your damaged property replaced so you can get back to your life. Call Fifth Element Adjusting or visit feaclaims.com. If you're happy with the outcome of your claim, Fifth Element Adjusting will not be able to help you. Ken Lawler, DFS number P213199.
Life a little expensive right now? If you need cash, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach is ready to buy. Gold, silver coins, and flatware, guitars and guns. Beaches Jewelry and Pawn wants to buy them. See Chuck and get extra cash only at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn.
I'm Lauren Brooks. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts. On the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go Gators!
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The NFC South is where we are at this week. We've already been to Atlanta. We will make stops in Tampa and Charlotte. Tonight, it's all about New Orleans. And let's go to my friend Mike Neighbors, Saints broadcaster, covering the New Orleans Saints. Mike, good to talk to you, man. How are you?
Hacker, congratulations on the show. I'm great. How are you?
Mike, I'm good, man. We certainly appreciate the time. And, boy, a lot's changed in New Orleans. Obviously, the Drew Brees era is now a couple of years removed. We'll talk about that book that you wrote with Drew in just a little bit. But now life after Sean Payton begins. Mike, how odd has it been this offseason knowing Sean Payton is no longer the man in charge?
Well, as you know, especially in Jacksonville, you know how it is with head coaches. It's hard to keep a head coach, and even the successful ones. It's hard to see a run last for a long time. And Sean Payton's mentor, Bill Parcells, didn't stay anywhere for a long time. So the fact that you take away the bounty year, he was in New Orleans for 15 seasons, is remarkable. I mean, the second longest run currently with Bill Belichick. And I think the biggest losers in this are the quarterbacks. I mean, he developed Taysom Hill and kind of made that a phenomenon in the NFL. And then I know we'll talk about Jameis, but Jameis Winston really learned a lot under Sean Payton and really progressed under Sean Payton before he got injured last year, minimizing his mistakes, really relying on the running game more, being a smarter quarterback. So, yeah, Sean Payton will never have to buy a drink in New Orleans the rest of his life. I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of broadcaster he'll be. But I definitely think he'll get back into coaching at some point.
I was going to ask you that. Is this a one-year sabbatical, and then Sean Payton will be coaching the Dallas Cowboys a year from now?
Well, I do know this. The crazy part, if Drew Brees would have retired after the 2019 season, Tom Brady would have gone to New Orleans. That was going to happen before the Bucs. And I think if that would have happened, both parties would still be in New Orleans and Sean Payton would still be coaching. We've heard all the stories about Miami. That wouldn't surprise me if Sean Payton came out But the one thing about Miami is they already have a new coach, so I think that would make that a little complicated. But I don't know if it would be with Brady. I think Dallas is always there. But I think if Sean Payton comes back, I think he obviously loves working with a good quarterback. It could be a situation, like a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert, something like that. A chance to work with a quarterback like that in his prime, Hacker, and the opportunity to work with him for another 10 years, I think that would be a situation he would want to jump into for a football team that, needs a coach to take them to that next level.
Formerly of First Coast News here in Jacksonville, now a Saints broadcaster. My friend Mike Neighbors here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Sean Payton out, Mike. We mentioned Dennis Allen in his second run as a head coach. Wasn't great, certainly, with the Raiders. What is the thought about Dennis Allen coming into 2022?
Well, I think he's the guy everybody wanted because of the continuity. I mean, a lot of times when you have a head coaching vacancy, it's because the football team was bad, but the Saints weren't bad last year. I mean, you can make an argument it was Sean Payton's one of his best coaching seasons. I mean, despite having 4 different quarterbacks and everybody was hurt with COVID, but he had more COVID issues than any other team. He had more injuries, arguably, than any other team, and they were a Rams victory over the Niners away from making the playoffs, which would have been remarkable given all their losses that year. So having Dennis Allen take Sean Payton's place, a misnomer with this team too, excuse me, is that the defense has really carried this team, especially since 2017. The defense has been the strength of this football team, and a big part of that is Dennis Allen coming back to New Orleans and taking over for Rob Ryan. He's transformed that defense, and it's helped. They've drafted well, getting guys like Marshawn Lattimore and Marcus Davenport when healthy. So the defense being the key, having a guy who's familiar with that defense, and we'll get to the offense. I mean, the offense really strengthening itself in terms of playmakers. I think the Saints could really be a dark horse team to make a lot of noise in an NFC that's not as strong in a lot of ways as the AFC.
No, I completely agree with you, and a lot of that's going to come down to Jameis Winston. Where is Jameis in the rehab from the knee injury? And look, I mean, Jameis, when healthy, can be a very productive quarterback in this league. Is it no doubt, Mike, his team moving into 2022?
Yeah, the big news, the brace is off his knee, and Jameis is making progress each and every week. And I think it'll help Jameis, Hacker, that he knows he's the guy this year. And he kind of knew it. I think he wouldn't say it, but nobody thought Taysom Hill would supplant Jameis in the preseason. But having Sean Payton last year and being a big Taysom guy, you knew the competition, would be legit if Taysom beat him out. But I think Jameis knowing he's the guy going in and being familiar with the system because, Sean Payton's not there, Hacker, but Pete Carmichael, the offensive coordinator, has stayed. And Pete Carmichael's been around through the whole tenure of Sean Payton. So he's been around through the whole time Jameis has been there. So it's not like it's a new system. He's familiar with the system. And the confidence of being around, this team for now his third season and having success as a starter last year and knowing he's the guy, I think that'll help him. I think the thing that will hurt Jameis, though, is the big wild card around this football team is Alvin Kamara. What he did in Las Vegas wasn't good. The more we hear about it, it's not good at all. But the big question is, how long will the NFL suspend him? If it's, say, 5 or 6 games, that's really going to hurt Jameis because you have Mark Ingram and really not anybody proven around him. We're hearing rumors they're going to bring in a veteran back in training camp. But if they don't have a proven running back with Mark Ingram, when Jameis is at his worst, and you've covered him for a long time dating back to his college days, you know this, when he feels like he has to do everything, that's never a good thing. So if they could get Kamara to maybe 4 games with that improved receiving core, I think this Saints offense will be really exciting, but not having Kamara is really going to hurt Jameis.
A couple more from Mike Neighbors, Saints broadcaster here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. You mentioned Kamara, Mike. That certainly is a big question. But by the way, the Cliff Notes version, we've been so caught up in Deshaun Watson and everything that's gone on there. Some people here in Jacksonville might have forgot the Kamara situation. You mentioned Vegas. It was around the Pro Bowl, right? That something out there went down?
Yeah, he was with a lot of his friends, and a guy got in the face of Kamara and his friends. And I don't know exactly everything that has transpired. There apparently is video of this, but apparently Kamara kicked him. They assaulted this man, and you can't do that obviously to anybody, no matter what they say. And it was bad for Alvin Kamara. And the more information that we hear is not good for Alvin Kamara. So it looks like the NFL is going to take action. And we've heard anywhere between 4 to 8 games. So, when Drew Brees left the building, Alvin Kamara became the face of that franchise. So you get Michael Thomas back this year. So it's almost like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back if you lose Alvin Kamara. So, he's the heartbeat of that offense. He's a leader in a lot of ways on a football team that's going to need him. So not having him in game number 1 and potentially for up to 6 to 8 games would really hurt this football team.
Yeah, that would not be good. And, Mike, you mentioned Michael Thomas. How is that injury? Is he 100%? Will he be ready to go opening day?
Well, it's funny, through the power of social media now, we know that Jameis' brace is off, and we know that Michael Thomas is running routes. He wasn't out there for the mini camp, but he's been out for a long time now. And, when we last saw Michael Thomas, he wasn't the player he was because he was just trying to get back, and he came back too soon. But if he can return to the form of the way he played with Drew Brees and setting that single-season record for catches where he broke Marvin Harrison's record, it would be huge for this football team. I mean, a year ago, Marquez Callaway was the leading wide receiver, and I think he was 90th in the NFL in catches. So you take that out of the mix, it's obviously the most improved receiving core in the NFL, because you draft Chris Olave, you bring back Michael Thomas, and you have Jarvis Landry. So all of a sudden, Marquez Callaway is just battling for playing time at this point. That will help Jameis Winston. But for me, this offense, the way it's predicated, is like a lot of offenses, it needs balance. So you got to have that running game. So if they can – if the evidence is out that Kamara, the whole situation wasn't as bad as we thought, and maybe it's just 3 or 4 games, this Saints offense, and I'll keep saying it, boy, Jameis could really be good in this offense, just the familiarity of it and the fact he's going to have a receiving core he didn't have. I mean, last year he beat the New England Patriots with a receiving core that wasn't close to what he's going to have this year. So the potential is there, and it's pretty exciting to see what may happen.
Level of excitement, Mike, Saints fans, that both Jarvis Landry and the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, are back on the Bayou.
Oh, it's huge, because in the Sean Payton era, and he would laugh about this, LSU up with Bama has the most NFL players currently, but for years they didn't draft LSU players. I mean, they had Devery Henderson, but that wasn't a Sean Payton draft. They never drafted an LSU player in the first round under Sean Payton, rarely in the top 3 or 4 rounds. So that's kind of a running joke with Saints fans. So to get kind of 2 of the marquee guys of the Les Miles era, or of that era when Sean Payton was there, on both sides of the football, and guys that can really help this team right away. I mean, they lost Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins retired, so having the Honey Badger in there is going to help that Saints secondary. And I've already talked about how depleted the Saints receiving core was. So to get LSU guys, is huge. To get those names is huge. But to get them in areas that can really help this football team is gigantic.
Final moments here with Mike Neighbors, Saints broadcaster on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. All right, Mike, the NFC South. I talked to Atlanta yesterday. My friend John Michaels of 680 The Fan. I asked him the expectations in Atlanta. He talked about C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. So that's where they are coming into 2022. They're in full rebuild mode. Carolina, very similar. It looks like Tampa's division, but where is New Orleans, do you think, when it comes to the NFC South?
I don't know, Hack. Here's the thing that's crazy about expectations is the Falcons and the Saints were very active in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. So how would expectations be if that would have changed? We would be having a different conversation with your Atlanta friend and with myself. But here's the thing. The bottom line, the Saints are 4-1 against Tom Brady. Now, the one loss was huge. That was in the playoffs. But they played very well against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, shut them out 13-0 in Raymond James Stadium. I think if Alvin Kamara's suspension isn't as bad as 6 games or 8 games, I think the Saints can challenge the Bucs for the division. I really believe that. I think the defense is stellar, and I think Jameis will be better. And if he has balance in this offense, I think it's a playoff team. I think the expectations are to make the playoffs, and they're not scared of the Bucs. They're 4-1 against Brady. The defense is confident. They love the challenge. So I think if Kamara's suspension is minimal, this will be a playoff team and possibly a division-winning team.
There's no doubt the Saints have playmakers on both sides of the ball. Mike Neighbors, one of the main playmakers in Saints history, was Drew Brees. You have a book with him that came out, around Christmas time, still doing very, very well. Talk about that book and where people around Jacksonville can pick it up.
I tell you what, you guys have been great to me. Every time I promoted this book on your station, I've had somebody reach out to me on my website, Mike Neighbors, N-A-B as in boy, O-R-S, MikeNeighbors.com. The book is about Drew Brees, and I interviewed Drew more than any member of the media. We had a show after every game for 14 of his 15 seasons. And it's really a story about an underdog, about a guy who didn't have huge expectations his whole football life, but will now be a future Hall of Famer. Some great behind-the-scenes story of his rise to the top in New Orleans. And Doug Flutie was his mentor coming into the league. And Doug Flutie spent a lot of time with me on this book, wrote the foreword, lives in Melbourne, Florida now. And actually, his band plays every 4th of July. He's a real active guy in the community still. But he tells me great behind-the-scenes story of Brees. But Deuce McAllister, Roman Harper, a lot of guys who play with Brees. Some great stories about Drew Brees' career. And even if you're not a Saints fan, if you're a football fan or if you're an underdog, if your kid is being told he can't make it, this will be a good book to read.
And it's called The Brees Way. Amazon, the normal channels will be where people can find it.
Yeah, and how about this? I just released an audiobook 2 weeks ago. So all of that is on Audible, Amazon. And if you want a signed copy, go to MikeNeighbors.com.
Mike Neighbors is a good friend, does a terrific job covering the New Orleans Saints. Hey, Mike, thank you for the time, man. We'll do it again soon.
Anytime. I always enjoyed Hacker, and you always make me feel old because I know you watched First Coast News back in the day, back in the late 90s when I was on the air.
That's right, man. There's no question. I grew up with Mike Neighbors. Absolutely. Thank you, buddy.
Anytime, man.
Well, there you go. My friend Mike Neighbors has worked with the New Orleans Saints for many, many years. Always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL Radio in Jacksonville. Yeah, that book, The Brees Way, absolutely fantastic. He's done terrific with that since it came out in December. And look, New Orleans is an interesting story this year. Life after Sean Payton. How will Jameis Winston do as the starting quarterback? And how will all those veterans like the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, like Jarvis Landry, like Michael Thomas coming back from injury, how will they fare in the NFC South and the NFC as a whole? It'll be interesting to see. Well, we've been to Atlanta. We've been to New Orleans. We will end our NFC South previews tomorrow night in both Charlotte and Tampa Bay as we round out our NFC South preview. That'll just about do it for a Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. We got a lot of people to thank. Let's start with Bill Bender of the Sporting News. Boy, the world of college football, pretty insane right now. I think we all just need a little football on the field, which we'll get pretty soon, coming up next month. But thank you to Bill Bender of the Sporting News for stopping by tonight. Also, former Florida Gator linebacker Earl Everett. Really enjoyed that conversation. He was a big, big part of the Gator National Championship team in 2006. Gator fans, if you missed that chat with former linebacker Earl Everett, that'll be up on 1010XL.com on demand here in just a couple of minutes. And again, Mike Neighbors, my friend that covers the New Orleans Saints as a Saints broadcaster and has so for many, many years. We will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, my last show of the week. I'm taking Friday off to go visit my in-laws up in the state of Maine. But we hope you join us tomorrow night. A lot more surprises for you here on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Dylan Denmark was your producer. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And Jacksonville, as always, we thank you for spending your nights with us here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on Hacker After Dark, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening, and we will do it all over again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Even more Jaguars. Listen to the Tommy Mac Podcast with Tom McManus and Campo and Joe with Dave Campo and Joe C. Find these original podcasts at 1010XL.com or on Twitter at 1010XL.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. 904-777-4477 or visit hairforme.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to